Welcome back, collectors, and thanks for tuning in to Comic Statues Unleashed, your go to channel for all things related to large scale, comic inspired statues. Today, we're really swinging for the fences with this piece. In this thrilling episode, I'm unboxing and reviewing one of the most exciting and ambitious statues of the year, Prime One Studios' Batman Death Metal 1/3 scale. Straight from the apocalyptic death metal storyline, this statue captures Batman at his most rebellious and defiant, wielding the power of the Black Lantern ring and riding a skeleton motorbike straight out of a dystopian nightmare. So sit back and enjoy as we delve into this hard-hitting rock and roll Batman. Let's get into it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any upcoming statue reviews, unboxings, and deep dives into the world of collectible art. What is death metal? The Dark Knight's death metal series follows Batman and the Justice League as they fight to survive in a twisted, post apocalyptic version of Earth ruled by the Batman who laughs. This Batman version embraces a more chaotic, darker aesthetic, combining the brutality of heavy metal with the heroism of the Dark Knight. In this story, Batman wields the Black Lantern ring, giving him control over the dead. This makes him more dangerous than ever as he battles an apocalyptic Earth with an army of reanimated corpses, resembling that Michael Jackson dance video from the 80s. I don't think that was the right clip, but nevertheless, the Black Lantern ring is a key visual and thematic element that symbolizes Batman's willingness to embrace darker powers to save the world. The skeletal motorbike that Batman rides is one of the most iconic visuals from the comic. It represents the grim and gritty tone of the series, and Prime One captured that macabre aesthetic beautifully in this statue. As is becoming customary with Prime One, this piece shipped in 3 massive boxes via freight transport. Not sure how I'll handle this just yet.
Not to worry, I've got some cocaine right here.
Here are all 3 monster boxes. Feel free to pause should you need the specifics. Combined shipping weight is 62 kilograms or 127 pounds. Here, we'll showcase the interior art box. All 3 are brightly colored and very well illustrated. Inside box 1, we have just 1 layer. Unwrapped, we have the gigantic base, as well as one of the first zombies. As we begin to examine the base, we are greeted with this immense skeletal and skull-laden motorcycle beneath a rocky, skull-infested boneyard. The skulls are all of varying size and species, including several horned demon skulls. It harshly conveys the scope of this Batman variant, emerging from hell as a warrior battling and killing his way through a twisted dystopian world. At 1/3 scale, this statue is massive, and its presence is undeniable. Whether you're a Batman fan, a death metal enthusiast, or a collector of high-end statues, this piece will dominate any display. It's more than just a tribute to the Dark Knight, it's a statement piece that captures the essence of the death metal universe. Here are some more base pictures, including one of me holding it, showcasing how large and heavy it actually is. Zombie number 1, and he is a definite wow for me. The dehydrated skin, various stages of decomp, and rotting flesh all play together magnificently. The tattered and torn clothing is exemplified with the great paint application. Similar to other zombies, he has a very detailed tentacle wrapped around him that we'll get into more detail later, as there are several more to come. Opening up box 2, we have the top layer. Unwrapped, we have multiple portraits and 2 more zombies. When there's one zombie, there's bound to be many, and these are all epic. Just a special point of note I'd like to bring attention to is the uniqueness and individualism that Prime One has expressed in all of these zombies. Unlike multiple other commissioners who will simply clone one zombie many times, Prime One has painstakingly created unique, undead characters, all in varying stages of decay and distinctively unlike one another, and conveying either pain or what looks like hunger for human brains.
I can feed it to my pet zombie. Here you go. Yeah, you're hungry, aren't you? He was.
For size reference, here is one of the zombies next to a quarter scale Thor. Next out of the box, we have a large bat symbol used to adorn the base. Despite it being plastic, it is expertly painted to look as if it is a well patinaed piece of metal. Alongside that, we have the single bust stand included with this statue, despite it having 5 unique portraits. That being said, I have some plans to rectify it. Keep your eyes out for an upcoming video on that. The bust is an exact copy of the Batman torso, highly detailed and well painted, just as the statue is. Moving along, we have the first 3 portraits. They all look incredible and convey deep facial expression and completely alter his appearance. Further to that, they all have subtle differences in the cowls, including ear shape, size, and line work. The final 2 portraits are a miss for me and not necessary. Not only are they devoid of expression, they are way too similar to one another, to the point that my wife thought they accidentally sent 2 of the same ones. The only notable differences exist in the ear size and line work around the eyebrows and side cowl. Box 2, lower layer, wrapped up. Unwrapped, we have the Fence and Demon Robin. The portrait on the Demon Robin is nothing short of horrific. The evil grimace and savage teeth, coupled with a Joker smile, is reprehensible. The grayish tone of death has overtaken his skin as well. It is a perfect comic adaptation of this malevolent variant. The subtle and muted nature of his costume play well with the tone and motif of this sculpture. He shows signs of damage and decay throughout his body. The vein work on him is particularly pronounced, given the impression that he is struggling against Batman and the chains that are holding him down. Again, to appreciate the size of this evil little bugger, here he is positioned next to 2 full-size quarter-scale pieces, as well as directly next to the quarter-scale Robin premium format. Another component to this masterful mosaic of a piece is this Arkham Asylum inspired fence that surrounds the rear of the collectible. If it looks familiar, that's because it is a direct copy from the 1/3 scale Batman Who Laughs. The astute viewers will have already recognized several other Dark Knight Easter eggs as well. Box 3, Layer 1, still wrapped. Unwrapped, we have the torso and jacket with both gauntlets and some chains. Also, we have the Sith handle. This is the lower portion of the Reaper style scythe, as well as the 2 included blades. The sculpting really exemplifies the different textures and look of materials well. The metal looks rusty and hellish and transitions wonderfully into the wooden handle that's wrapped in cloth. The 2 blade heads allow for different personal perspectives. One is the traditional Reaper style straight edge blade, while the other, my personal favorite, is molded after a bat wing and looks incredibly menacing. The upper half of Batman is very large and heavy. His jacket flares out at the back and is sculpted to look exactly like a heavy leather overcoat. His suit is highly textured and battle damaged as well. As you move to the back of the torso, you realize that no detail was spared. It's just as impressive and highlighted with superb painting and weathering throughout. Both gauntlets are buckle and spike laden with metallic overtones across them. Large and imposing blades encompass them as well. Finally, we have box 3, lower layer. Unwrapped, we have the lower body, an impaled head, tentacles, and yup, another zombie. Batman's legs are large and heavy as well, adorned with multiple weapons, buckles, clips, and spikes. His textured pants are tucked into his large military style boots. Not to be overlooked, of course, are the bat signal metal knee pads adorned on his knees. Following that, we have one of the cooler zombies. This impaled head surrounded by a tentacle. Yes, it looks fantastic, and the tentacle is stupendous, with the wet, slimy look and super detailed skin tone. It's just all I can think of when I see this decapitated head is the classic Night of the Living Dead style zombie, dead but still animated and longing for nourishment. Not to be outdone, here's that same head next to some other 1/3 scale statues. Finally, we have some additional tentacles from the drowned, which will surround the base of this work of art. Just before beginning the final assembly, I wanted to showcase how many pieces are actually in this statue. This represents all of the overflow, just so I could make room and assemble this piece. Due to the size, weight, and complexity of this piece, the traditional 360-degree view was not going to happen. So here's a quick assembly and glamour style video of the completed statue. Prime 1 is known for creating statues that push the boundaries of detail and scale, and this is no exception. This 1/3 scale towers at about 40 inches tall and is packed with intricate detail and truly captures the essence of this dark version of Bruce Wayne. The paint application is top tier. His armor has a worn, weathered look with metallic highlights that make it feel like it's seen years of battle. The tones of black and gray dominate his suit, but there are subtle variations, small areas of dirt, scratches, and battle damage that give him a realistic, lived-in feel. His jacket, flowing dramatically behind him, is expertly textured with shadowing and highlights that add depth and motion. One of the key elements of this statue is its powerful pose. Batman stands tall and defiant, scythe in hand, ready to take on any enemy no matter how impossible the odds. The dynamic nature of his stance, combined with the flowing jacket and jagged rocks, makes this piece feel alive with movement. This isn't a Batman lurking in the shadows. This is a warrior king, standing at the edge of destruction, unafraid to take on the multiverse's darkest forces. Due to this, once assembled, you can gather an appreciation for all of the nuances with the included portraits. And speaking of heads and portraits, this piece is covered in them. I've counted 11 different 1/3 scale heads, as well as a half dozen more skulls. The artist must have had a real skull and cranium fetish, if you ask me.
I know the word fetish makes it sound sexual, which is good, because it is.
As alluded to earlier, this, I feel, is Prime 1's most ambitious and ingenious design. It defies traditional standards and embarks on a new genre of rock and roll zombie warfare. In keeping with the Dark Knight's line, this particular work of art incorporates multiple Easter eggs from the other statues of the same line, including the Arkham fence, Damon the Demon, the drowned tentacles, and the hellish chains. Even the Black Lantern ring on his left hand plays homage to Dawnbreaker. The hellish nightmare of this advancing zombies on the base and the sheer size of this is what sets it apart for me. I can't stop staring at it. Now let's talk about value. This statue retails for around $1,500 US, which places it in the higher end category. But considering the sheer size, level of detail, and craftsmanship involved, it may well be worth the investment for a serious collector. Prime 1 continues to deliver on quality and artistry, and for a piece that stands over 3 feet and 100 pounds in weight, it's clear why this would be a grail for many fans. As always, wait for a deal or purchase off the secondhand market before you decide if it's worth the investment to you.
Hey, it's not worth it. None of this is. I wish I stayed home.
To wrap up, Prime 1 Studios' death metal Batman is nothing short of a masterpiece. It's perfect representation of the dark, brutal world of death metal and a fitting tribute to the Batman who fights not just for Gotham, but for the survival of the multiverse itself. Also, big shout out to the wife for all of her help and constantly putting up with all of my crap. Well, that's a wrap for today's review. What do you think of death metal Batman? Is it metal enough for your collection? Let me know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming reviews here on Comic Statues Unleashed. Until we meet again, keep your passion for collecting alive and your love for superheroes soaring.